Welcome to Universal Man. My name is Mark Weppen. I'm here to help you unleash your apex potential. And today, well, we've got a bit of a channel update. And the short of it is that I'm going to be reducing the amount of time I spend here on YouTube, maybe temporarily, maybe permanently. And I'm going to be making some additional changes. I'm going to be starting a new weekly newsletter that'll be free. I'm going to be starting a new premium podcast, which I think some of you guys will really like. And then I'm going to be making some changes to the way my Vanguard community for Universal Man is being run. So I'm going to break all of that down for you, as well as explain why I am doing this, okay? The number one reason here that I'm going to that kind of spurred a lot of these changes is that I'm not happy with YouTube. I'm not happy with the way it's treating me at the moment. Like, basically, a lot of my business model that I had set up, going into 2021 was built around the idea of, hey, I'm going to dramatically increase the amount of content that I'm putting out on YouTube. That should give me a significant spike in viewership, subscribers, that sort of thing. And then that will create the influx of people into, my sales funnel, into my program, into, my course, that kind of stuff. And it'll all work out. I'll be able to just basically focus on creating a lot of free content that'll bring me the traffic I need to then sustain and grow the business in the way that I want. Thing is, it's just not working out that way. YouTube is not being very kind to me algorithmically. In some ways, it seems to actually be penalizing me a little bit. I've gotten reports from guys who basically they never see my videos in their feed. I've had some guys getting unsubscribed just automatically, which is weird. I sound like one of those conspiracy theorists, which I'm not trying to be one of those. It's just I'm not getting the love from the algorithm that I was hoping. And because of that, my whole business model that I had, I was going to try, it's just not making a ton of sense. I don't want to be basically like, I don't want to be like my success and the big business success and the success of the Vanguard and everything we're trying to do here. I don't want it to be beholden to how well I worship the Google gods, right? Like, sure, maybe there are some things I can do to game the algorithm better, but it's like, do I really want to get into having that be what my business is about? Trying to understand what another company is doing and figuring out how to make, myself appealing to them so that they reward me. And honestly, I'm not super interested in playing that game. And when I realized that, well, then it just started a whole cascade of looking at a whole bunch of other stuff, And on a personal level, I think I just kind of have become a little bit like disconnected from who I really am. All right. Like, at my core, some of my core values, like particularly professionally, is that I'm a coach. First and foremost, that's what I am. And everybody today, says I'm a coach. And they have no training. And, they've never coached a client like individually or anything like that. It's just kind of like a trendy buzzword. But like for me, it's a very meaningful thing. And a coach is defined by someone who moves people from point A to point B. Okay, like that. It comes from the old stagecoach idea. And that's what I do, is I move guys from a place of dysfunction to a place of, living out their potential. And that's not only what I'm best at, it's also what I love the most. And somewhere along the line, I just kind of got caught up in, I'm a YouTuber, I'm a content creator, maybe I'm a social commentator or something like that. And, I can do those things, but they're not my strongest points, and it's not what I want to make my living doing. I want to be a coach, first and foremost. I want to create high levels of impact in people's lives. And so you take that and you combine that with the YouTube thing. That's where the impetus for these upcoming changes are where they stem from. And so the biggest takeaways from this are going to be YouTube. I'm going to be doing way less YouTube. Instead of doing a Universal Man podcast, which I've been doing every week, and then clipping up the pieces and releasing them individually, I'm probably just going to go once a month right now. So big cut. Going to do one big podcast a month, and then, I'll release the clips over time. And if I can figure out how to do more content without taking too much more effort, I will, because, I still care about the YouTube community. Well, I don't really care about YouTube itself. I care about the people who follow me on here, and I want to be able to keep connecting with them. And I like the idea of putting out free content and that sort of thing, especially if it doesn't get in the way of other stuff. So I'll see if I can streamline stuff to keep things rolling along on that front. But basically, I'm going to be looking at other mechanisms for generating leads, maybe doing more interviews, maybe doing some paid traffic and that kind of stuff. And so that's one big thing. Okay. But in the face of taking that away, I'm going to be adding something. Okay. I'm going to be adding something that is on a platform I control, my newsletter. And I'm going to be creating a very kind of specific sort of newsletter. I'm calling it the B3 newsletter, a B3 Thursday. And B3 stands for break, build, become. So I'm going to help you break a habit, build a habit, and become a better man. And the idea is that instead of trying to spam you guys with a ton of stuff and hoping that you click on some of it, I want to be moving to a model where I'm instead making some stuff and that you always want to click on. Right? So a little bit higher quality, a little bit lower frequency. Everyone would say that that's not the right move when this algorithmic, constantly fast-paced world. And we'll see. I tried the fast pace, didn't get big payoff, at least not quickly. And we're going to try this out, see how this goes. I always reserve the right to change things up, but I'm excited for this, because I think it's going to be kind of like a short, punchy email that you're always going to want to see, because it'll have something interesting in there. So you can get that by clicking the link below and making sure you're on the list, and you'll get that. So that's one big shift. All right. But I also want to be creating more stuff for the people who are really invested in what I put out. And so I'm going to be creating a new premium podcast as well. And this is going to be weekly. So this is going to be for the elite members of my Vanguard, at the $39 per month tier. You get a whole bunch of stuff in that tier. You can click the link to find out all about what that is. But one of them is going to be now is this weekly Vancast. And in it, what I'm going to be doing is I'll be taking what I cover in the newsletter, the B3 newsletter, and that core habit change, and then blowing it up a bit and talking more about the implementation of how exactly I would go about it. So, for example, if the break the habit was staying up late, doing useless stuff, and build the habit of getting up early and then becoming the kind of guy that gets more done by noon than most people do in their entire day. Let's say that's what the B3 Thursday was about. In the Vancast, I will do a deeper dive on that. I will talk about specifically how I would go about making that shift, maybe whatever tools or tactics that I would apply to, do that. So it's you can either figure it out on your own and just be inspired by the newsletter, or if you want kind of a more technical look at it for those of you guys who are into that sort of thing, then, you can check out the Vancast, and I'll probably be adding some additional stuff in there as well, maybe community spotlight, weekly Q&As, whatever I want. Whatever's on my mind that week, I'm going to be using it as a place to sort of go off. And I may clip out pieces of that and put it on YouTube if I think it'll be, good stuff. But beyond this, there's still a few more changes. So one of the things I'm really focused on, I don't want to say too much about this now, but I really want to be getting into doing cohort-based programs where I'm actually taking people through, like my Reforged Man course, like a whole big group that interacts with each other, and we, go through the material at the same time. And then I'll probably have a subset of that group who, signs up, and I'll actually do individual coaching with them. So that's exciting. That's just one of those things as a coach. It's that is the way I can 100% generate the most impact and the most change, by having that kind of cohort group-based process. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be doing that for my upcoming productivity course as well. Let me see what else was there. Right. I'll also be doing workshops now each month for the elite. Instead of a deep dive, I'm going to do it more kind of hands-on. Make it more interactive, make it more like giving people a skill set, giving them the practice exercises, getting them to do things, and maybe even doing a follow-up session or something like that, where I can make sure that people are really installing stuff. This is where most of my new bleeding edge content is going to go. I'll also probably regularly revisiting, core concepts and stuff in there too. But, the elites will get all that kind of stuff. So each month you'll be getting a significant opportunity to upgrade your personal development. And then, I'll be shifting up the call schedule too for the elites, and I'll link if you check out the video, I detail all of that in there. If you actually are an elite and you want to know how all that's going to be changing, but that's the big update that I wanted to be giving you guys. Is that I'm going to be just making some changes here, and I'm really excited because this should reduce my workload a bit so that I can actually just not work less, but actually just start working more on the next level stuff, like getting the next courses together, getting some more products to you guys that, deliver some, very targeted changes, because that's what I want to do. I don't want to just talk about stuff. I want to actually create transformation in your lives. And so I'll keep continuing with the series that I've got going. They'll just be going at a slower pace. And if you want more content from me, well then, it's join the Vanguard, and we can do it like that, because, the YouTube model just not working. But I appreciate all of you guys for your ongoing support. I appreciate your continued support of the program, your interest, your kind comments, all that kind of stuff. And who knows, maybe we still at some point will get over 100,000. I'm confident it'll happen, but you know what? I'm not going to be waiting on that, or just keep pushing for the sake of that. If it comes, it comes. If not, we're gonna be rising and rocking and rolling anyway. So thank you guys for watching. Ooh, yeah. I'll see you all on the next one.